Hi everyone, this video is on solving inequalities. So with solving inequalities, they work very similar to just rearranging a normal equation. You just imagine the inequality sign is an equals. The only thing that's different is if you have to multiply or divide by a negative number. When you do that, the inequality sign actually switches around to face the other way. That's the only rule that really changes anything. So it's got a couple of examples for us to do. So the first one, we have x plus 2 is greater than 12. So with this one, all we have to do is minus a 2 to the other side, so x would be greater than 10. Just exactly the same as normal rearranging. For b, same thing again, this time we'd end up with 3x is less than 7 plus 3, which is 10, which means x is less than 10 on 3. Now, we left the inequality sign the same way then, even though we divided, because the 3 was positive. Now, if you look at this last example, our first step would be to add the 4 to the other side, so we get 8. Now here, because we are dividing by negative 2, we have to flip the inequality sign to the other side, so y actually is greater than negative 4. Now another example here, when we have a quadratic, so x squared minus 3x minus 10 is greater than 0. So with quadratics, actually the easiest way is to solve it as we would if it was to equal 0, and then from there we can work out our solution. So we have x squared minus 3x minus 10 is greater than 0. Now I'm actually just going to solve this as if it was an equal 0. We could factorise it, so it would be x plus 2 and x minus 5 equals 0. So x would equal minus 2 or positive 5. Now if we were to graph this function, you'll find it looks a little something like this, where here we've got the negative 2 and the 5. Now our question is wanting when this quadratic is greater than 0. So this quadratic is greater than 0 when it is above the x-axis. So it's greater than 0 here and here. Which is why we need to find the intercepts so we know where we are above, where the graph is above and below the x-axis. So our solution to this, when this function is greater than 0, is when x is less than negative 2 and when x is greater than 5. Because between negative 2 and 5, the line is below the x-axis, which means it is less than 0 at those points. And that's the basics of solving inequalities.